enter the postseason, and of course everyone wants
dance, and if we had our preference, that's where we'd rather be in. But at the same time, we get an opportunity to play in the NIT tournament, and so it's the next season for our guys, and I'm anxious to see how we come out and respond after the tough loss to South Carolina. Going back on that particular in that tournament, I thought we controlled our own destiny, and obviously we came up a little short. But at the end of the day, that season's over with, and now we enter our survive and advance mode. You know, one game at a time, and it certainly has to have that. Certainly have to have that mindset going into the NIT against an Indiana State team that's well balanced, a team that's a veteran team, and well coached. Coach Lansing has done a tremendous job. They won 23 games, played in Missouri Valley, finished second in the Valley, and it's a team that has balance from the standpoint of guys that can shoot the basketball, get to the free throw line quite a bit. So we'll have our hands full in playing against a team such as Indiana State.
Is the concern level higher for not a potential letdown for not making the NCAA versus being in the NIT, or just trying to shake whatever happened in the last two games of the season?
Well, we just want to. You know, this is an opportunity for us to play more games. I think more importantly, when you talk about the rewards that you get at the end of the year, is to participate in postseason play. So our guys have an opportunity. We have 5 seniors. So more importantly to me is not necessarily just you want the mindset to be right, but obviously there's a lot of teams that are not playing right now. So we're fortunate to continue to play basketball. So I'm more concerned about us coming out and certainly playing at the level that we were playing before those 2 games that you talked about. I still think there's a lot of good basketball left in us. And of course, you got to do that, perform out on the floor. So we got another day to practice here today, and we'll find out. We'll find out how we do respond coming off of a tough loss to South Carolina.
Big picture-wise, not necessarily where you want to be, but does this just show progress that you made in the postseason?
Oh, absolutely. I just think you look, the foundation is laid. I mean, to me, the foundation has been set. And so all we got to do is now just go forward. We were in a position where we control our own destiny. And so last year I can sit there and say, hey, we were in a position to do that. So now experience is going to be your greatest teacher. So we learn. We learn. You know, sometimes you can pull the cart before the horse. And so the lesson learned is, hey, you got to finish what you started. I just didn't think we finished it, especially in the fashion that we're playing. We're playing, you know, when you talk about 8 out of 9 games in the SEC, and you're playing at a high level, just as good as anyone in the country. Now all you got to do is just do your work in terms of finishing it out, and we didn't do it. And that's the bottom line. So, but we learn from it, and even as we go, we have an opportunity to participate in the NIT. You know, our mindset is, hey, let's get better. Let's continue to play at a high level.
You mentioned Indiana State gets to the foul line a lot and spreads the court out. What do you all do, especially when the officiating changes like it did in that South Carolina game, just to adjust to be able to play your style?
It did change, didn't it? Now, you do. I think you have to make the adjustment, and that is we get back to talking about moving your feet and not necessarily your hands, because a lot of fouls that were called were touch fouls, I think, with the hands, and we just got to move our feet and keep people in front of us. I mean, it just requires you to discipline yourself to do that. That's good. Teams make the adjustment, make this subtle adjustment, and in that particular game, you know, it still kind of amazes me, you know, that, you know, and I watch other games and where it's like they're letting the guys play.
Mike, these guys, Indiana State won 9 road games and 12 games away from home total. How impressive is that?
Well, he's done a great job with his team. A veteran team. When you got veteran guys that have been through the wars, and of course they're playing. I had a chance to play in the Missouri Valley, and so even when you talk about it's a tremendous league, and even as you look at what Wichita State is doing, I think you got to look at what Indiana State is doing as well. But there's some good teams in that league. Northern Iowa, there's some tough places to play, and these guys have went in there and won. So just tells you to, he's got a good ball club. Got a really good ball club. Like I said, they got the balance. All their guys can step out and shoot the basketball. So you open up that floor, a lot of good things can take place, and they play a lot of guys.
Coach, expound on Jake a little bit, what you saw on film.
Just real clever, just real heady. I think he kind of runs the show, and he can score when he wants to. Gets to the free throw line an awful lot. I think they just say he broke Larry Bird's record for getting to the free throw line. So that tells you he's pretty active. Takes care of the basketball. He doesn't turn it over a whole lot. But I think not only him, they got some other players on that team as well. But certainly he's the one, the leading scorer, leading assist guy. He's the head of their basketball team. He's a senior. He's a veteran guy from that area. So for them to have an opportunity to play in the NIT, I'm sure they're looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge of playing here at Arkansas.
You guys always talk about cutting off the head. When you got a veteran like Odom, and he's averaging about 8 free throws a game, 8 attempts anyway, what's the line you got to walk between pressuring him but not fouling him and putting him on the line?
Well, it goes back to you got to put pressure, but like I said, not fouling. Making sure the ball is in other guys' hands. And they got some guys that are capable of putting up some numbers. The Christian Smith kid is a really good player. The A-Rop kid, very athletic, can shoot the basketball. And Cummins, they got some big guys that can step out and shoot the basketball as well. So, but our concern is let's play basketball. Let's play instinctive, aggressive, without fouling basketball. We want to dictate tempo.
After those last 2 games, you had guys saying that we just didn't play Arkansas basketball, they outplayed us, they wanted it more. How do you react when you hear your guys say things like that?
Well, sometimes, as I said, sometimes you pull the cart before the horse. And, the Alabama game, you got to give Alabama credit. I thought they did. I thought after the Ole Miss game, we played about as good as we could. We made shots. And so you go into the next game thinking it's going to be like that. And so then you get popped upside the head, and then it wakes you up. And I thought there was improvement from that game to the South Carolina game. I mean, we were in control of the game. We just didn't finish. I mean, all you got to do is look back on some of the earlier games where we're in position to finish off games, and we did not. We let South Carolina hang around, and that's what happens when you let a team hang around. You don't put them away. So it ain't like, they wanted it from the standpoint of I thought they physically got at us. South Carolina did, and we didn't bow our necks and keep them out of there. But I thought our guys played to win.
Do you think they're still winning, or learning to maybe play at 102% every single night?
Well, it's not that. I just think, they've had some success. And sometimes teams don't know how to handle success. That's where the experience kicks in at. Guys, you got to stay humble, you got to stay hungry. Coach can preach it and say it, but it's got to take place within that huddle. That's where it's got to take place. And to me, that's the next step. It's taking place in that huddle, taking place out on that floor.
Are you confident your guys have gotten over the discipline of not making NCAAs and they'll be excited?
We're fine. I think our guys are. I think our guys are looking forward to it. As I said, we got 5 seniors, and they want to go out in style. We had a senior night here, and guess what? They get another game here. That's kind of interesting there. But if I know these guys and the makeup of these guys and what they've done throughout this year. I mean, we've seen this team come in at, looking one way, and as they finished up the season, they've looked another way. I mean, until those last 2 games. And like I said, in the last game, I don't think it was because of lack of effort. I don't think it was. I think we just let South Carolina hang around, and before you know it, we couldn't make the plays that we normally could. That first game is always going to be the toughest game. And the same thing would take place here. The first game in the tournament play, because we're in a tournament now. But I got a feeling our guys they'll show up and they'll be ready to play.
Are you surprised that it's been this difficult to get back to the NCAA tournament, at a place where you were so accustomed to it as an assistant?
Well, getting in and seeing what has taken place. Once I got in and saw all the things that have taken place, then it makes sense why you don't. But that's why I said the foundation has been laid. So I think everything else here, you're going to see us playing hopefully for championships each and every year. I mean, that's the bottom line. And that starts with, between the culture, between the personnel. Not only that, I think there's also got to be a charge from the head coach in terms of what we're going to be about. I think that's got to be you got to have that vision, and so I'm used to playing in postseason play. That's how I always say it. I'm used to playing in postseason play, and so I got to have guys that have that same mindset coming in.
Mike, they've got 9 guys averaging 11 plus minutes. Is it going to be hard to wear these guys down the way you like to wear down people?
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Bob. I mean, we're going to play people just like we normally play, and hopefully we get them to go to that bench, and hopefully our bench is the bench that can produce a lot more. It may come down to that, who bench produces the most.
Coach, I know we saw at one point in South Carolina, Bobby and Moses playing at the same time. Did you possibly see that more so tomorrow?
Yeah, you'll see them out there together. I mean, we've been practicing with them together, so you'll see them out there together. And hopefully it's going to give us, one of the things that has took place in the South Carolina game, and we saw it in the Alabama game. People have been taking advantage of us going to the glass, and so you got to have some more size out there. And so you'll see those guys out there, maybe even with the Cody out there with them as well.
Virginia and Baylor are a couple of teams this year in the NCAA that run NIT last year. Do you feel like it's something maybe your team can do to take a experience like the NIT, maybe parlay it into a bigger year?
Well, I think that's, to me, is a great opportunity for, by a lot of standards, we're still a young basketball team. Everybody look and see we have these seniors, but when you talk about playing wise, these guys are still young in terms of playing. So, but when you look at the guys that get a chance to get the experience of playing the postseason play, I mean, with the possibility of 5 games, I think that's tremendous, especially this time of year, to go along with the practice. But the experience of being in a tournament and playing in a tournament of this caliber, it can only benefit our program, benefit our team.
I guess their coach, Greg Lansing, is real good friends with Brett Bielema. They got to know each other when they both were at Iowa. Were you aware of that? Or?
Yeah, for some reason, Brett had mentioned that to me, I guess in the summer, maybe early in the year. He had mentioned that to me, so it's kind of ironic that we're playing them in playing Indiana State.